leading online political forum in Nigeria. That's www.liberatingnigeria.com. I am here today with engineer Debo Onifade. He is the author of the book Liberating Nigeria, a guide to winning elections and reviving our country, with foreword by Mr. Femi Falana, a senior advocate of Nigeria. He's also the founder of Nigerians' number one online political forum. I'm talking about www.liberatingnigeria.com. This book is available on Amazon, and in Nigeria, you can place an order online from delon.ng, rhbooks.com.ng, or simply send an email to liberatingnigeria@gmail.com to make inquiries about the book. We also have the free ebook available on Amazon Kindle Unlimited. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel by simply clicking the subscribe button below the video, and get registered at www.liberatingnigeria.com to join our movement to revive Nigeria. Our vision is to enlighten, organize, and influence 5 million first-time voters by 2023 and 20 million voters by 2027. Welcome to the show, Engineer Onifade.
Good to be here. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I hope you're doing well too.
Good. Thank God.
Okay, so let's get on with it. I'd like us to talk about the Companies and Allied Matters Act that has been signed into law by the President of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari. This is a law that has got a lot of controversies around it, especially from religious leaders and religious organizations. We've had one of the famous religious leaders, I'm talking of Bishop David Oyedepo, come to say no to the act. At the same time, the Christian Association of Nigeria has said no to the act. And this is because contained in the act is a clause they say would meddle with affairs of religion, Christianity, Islam, and other organizations in Nigeria. That is the clause that says the Corporate Affairs Commission, now with the newly enacted law, has the right to take charge or take over any non-governmental organization that it decides is not doing well, or there's been some financial misappropriation or leadership of misappropriation. So the CAC now has the power to take over such organizations, and so religious leaders are against this. They say that it's meddling in their affairs, and they would not take it at all. But then at the other side are the business owners who think it is the best of all acts that Visa administration has signed into law, because it's done some changes in the former act that's made the ease of doing business really on an increase for business owners. So what do you have to say about this, considering the two sides that I just mentioned?
Thank you so much. So first of all, I think the Buhari government is a joke. When you want to improve ease of doing business, and you create a law that is over 600 pages, I haven't seen
604 pages law.
That's amazing. I don't know why we like to do that in Nigeria. We like to write a lot of laws without substance. That's too long. To me, that's the first disappointment. I don't understand how 600 pages will make business easier. That is way too long. What are you writing? And it's when and that's why they smuggled in that that wrong clause that everybody's talking about. Usually, that's what happens when you write too much stories. You end up writing some nonsense, and because you want to hide those things there, you rather write something very long, difficult for people to read, so that they wouldn't see the fine print. So that's like a fine print. It's come on here. You want to fill an insurance form, you miss out on very long fine prints. Now, let me talk about the church first. I do not support many utterances that Bishop David Oyedepo has made in recent months. I don't understand how he comes up with some of those points. I think he's probably not reading the facts a lot, or maybe he's getting older and he's not having the time to really study, because he's even talked about some of those conspiracy theories vis-a-vis this corona, and he's probably spoken the same way as Pastor Chris Oyakilome and co.
Has spoken, yeah.
But but anyway, but in this context, I think I agree with him. In this context, if that's
Okay.
what he's talking about, I think there's a clause that is wrong. I think they're going to expunge it very easily. Lawyers are going to go to court. I think that is wrong. However, I strongly agree with regulation. The reason why charity organizations are regulated all over the world is because they don't want to pay taxes. So, as a church or a mosque or a charity organization, you're exempted from taxes. Now, if a government exempts you from paying tax, then you have a responsibility to run the business, to run the company or the organization appropriately. Now, if you don't want the government to regulate you, it's simple. Just convert your church into a private business. Simple. And then be ready to subject yourself to taxes. Plain and simple. If you do that, government is not going to bother regulating you. You have to pay your taxes. Government can Government is free to audit you anytime. You can buy 20 jets if you want. You can do anything you like if you're a private company. So that's the first thing I want to say. If Bishop Oyedepo is concerned about other things, about regulation, it's very simple. Just convert everything to private. They're not going to chase you. They'll chase you for taxes, but nobody's going to, regulate you that way. But
But
as long
regulation is different from empowering the CAC to
so
take over.
this I think the CSC. So what I believe is there should be there's too much power given to that clause has to be revised. There's too much power given to the CSC official or the supervising minister, as is referred to. However, if there's a process, say a court process or a legal process that determines it's not it's not right for an individual in CSC to just wake up and say, I suspect this church and I want to take over. That will not hold water. That will not hold water in any court case. Now, but if there is a legal process by which CSC can get authorized to take over, uh, because this has happened in other countries. I've read that there were times that in the UK regulators temporarily took over the running of, I think, Oyakilome's church and Mountain of Fire at some point. The charity regulators in UK have had problems with Ashimolo in the past. They've had problems with Mountain of Fire. They've had problems with Chris Oyakilome. Now they were not. The problem probably lasted a few years. I think they're out of it, but it's consistent with what we need to have in place in Nigeria. If you register as a charity organization and you are getting in 5 billion per year, somebody needs to explain how you are spending the 5 billion. If you are spending 4.8 billion out of the 5 billion on admin, on jets, on big buildings, I personally support that you can be questioned. Because if you're a charity organization, and that's part of what created some questions for, I think, even winners in England in the past. And the question was the UK government was saying, how come you're spending, this tiny percentage of your income, of your revenue in England? How come you're spending this amount on charity and bulk of your income goes back to Nigeria? So it was a legitimate question by the UK authorities to say, why are you spending this tiny percentage on charity in England and you are repatriating, bulk of your income to Nigeria? As if I was head of CAC or government and the Nigerian regulators, I think should also be able to ask those kind of questions. Now, so I'm not against regulation. I actually think churches need to be better regulated. If they don't want to be regulated, they should convert themselves to private entities. Now, but I'm against empowering an individual to take such decision because that will become political. What if I don't like Bakare? What if I don't like Oyedepo? What if I don't like Adeboye? Then I can wake up as a CAT official, or as a supervising minister, and say, I want to punish this church. So I don't support empowering an individual to take such decision, but I support a legal process, an appropriate legal process that allows the CAC to ask questions and, if need be, take over the running, temporarily take over the running of a church. And again, remember, taking over is more like you guys are not, you don't have a proper governance in place. You're not running this appropriately. We want to take over for 6 months and work with you and to transition you back into. So I don't think it makes any sense for anybody to totally take over. But if you have to temporarily supervise the running of an NGO or a charity organization with a view to helping them to become better governed, I think that's very appropriate.
Well, the very different Christian associations have said they will take up the issue in court if all of their outcries is not well attended to by the president. That's the Christian Association of Nigeria and the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria. So they said that they've gone through the law and it really doesn't suit them. So they would continue to talk about it until the president decides to
So, so,
have
so let
a
me
review of the law.
so let me make this point. Now, again, this is not a new law. I don't know why a lot of Nigerians are talking as if it's a new law. It's not new. It's just that before now, because the churches are so powerful, nobody wants to touch them. There's always been laws in Nigeria to regulating churches, but the church leaders are so powerful because they're politically strong. Government doesn't want to do anything about it. Now, let's focus on this clause. I think it's this clause that needs to be tweaked. The fact that everybody is just condemning CAMA as if this is a terrible law, I think it's born out of ignorance. Yes, just yesterday, Femi Falana finally made his own point, which is consistent with what my views have been in the last couple of days. Let's focus on this clause that is wrongly empowering an individual. Other than that, every other thing is, to me, fine. Churches should be regulated. Religious organizations need to be better regulated in Nigeria. These churches subject themselves to regulation in England, in the US. Why don't they want to subject themselves to regulations in Nigeria?
Nigeria.
So I support regulation. If you don't want to be regulated, convert yourself to a profit-making private venture, and nobody will question you about how you spend your money. But I agree that this clause, I think Khan and everybody needs to focus on the clause they don't support. Empowering an individual to take a decision without a legal process, without a redress, without a process of previous interactions. Because before you take over a church, you must demonstrate that you have mailed the church, explain to them that they're not governing appropriately. You have given them notice to change their governance structure. The church has responded to you. You've gone through a 2, 3 year, 4 year process of trying to help the church to revise their governance appropriately. And after they refuse to do what you ask them to do, and then you decide to take over. So to me, that should be the focus. There should be a process that leads to such unfortunate temporary takeover, rather than empowering an individual or a serving minister to do that. Hello, are you there? I think I lost you again. Anyway, I think that's the point I'm making, and I don't support this view that karma itself is it's a bad law, and I'm not I don't like when churches just kick against regulation as if I know Nigeria can be tough in terms of having a wrong person in power, but I think churches should be ready for regulation in Nigeria.
Okay, let's move away from that and over to the Nigerian Bar Association election, which saw Olumide Akpata emerging as winner of the election. He ended up defeating two senior advocates of Nigeria to become the first non-senior advocate president of the association. That's a feat, if you'd ask me. So, the question I would like you to talk about is this can this be possible in the political scene in our country, that someone who we can say is a novice, yes, emerges and takes up a political seat, a prominent political seat, say a governorship seat or a presidential seat in the country?
So first of all, this is not the first time. It has happened in the past, but in the last 20 years or so, this has not happened. No, in the past, maybe close to 30 years, this has not happened. Um, but I want to let people know that Olumide Akpata did a good job. He is not. Everybody calls him an underdog. That's correct. That's appropriate. But he also learned the ropes. He's. This is part of what I've been talking about. He didn't come from nowhere. He was part of different subgroups. He was in the leadership position. Uh, you know, in the Nigerian Bar Association. He's also practiced law for quite a while. He's clearly close to some powerful SANs. Uh, so he got a lot of support from the younger lawyers. That's correct. But the fact is that he also got some support from some senior lawyers quietly. And he did a good job campaigning. So I really, really like what happened. I think we need to learn from it. The fact that he campaigned, he ran politics properly, he campaigned to the young people. But like I said, he also quietly got some backings. And that is why, for example, he won the election. Some STNs are not happy about it. They want to cancel. The election is imperfect, like everybody knows. Some STNs want to cancel it, but the BOT has come out to say no. It wasn't a perfect election, but we're not canceling it. So the fact is that some powerful guys also were fine with his candidacy, and they were pretty pretty okay with it. So I hope that we can replicate this in other groups, like maybe other professional groups, NMA, PhD, Pharmacy Council, you know, Engineering Council. I hope this can be replicated in other groups, such that we can get underdogs to win elections, and then we all can begin to learn from what they did. But again,
And then replicate it at the national level.
I think we can start from local level before we get to national level.
Okay.
It takes time, but we can start from maybe House of Assembly, state governor elections. Presidency is a tough call, but at least let's start finding a way to replicate this in smaller smaller elections in Nigeria. But again, Akpata, you didn't hear him during his campaign. I don't think you ever heard him blasting all the past SANs. No, he ran a very nice campaign. He was respectful. He wanted to defeat them, but he was respectful to them. He didn't blast most of them. So it's different from the way a lot of young people do today. They just want to blast everybody. You abuse the politicians. You abuse all the religious leaders. You abuse Obas. You abuse everybody. So who is going to vote or support you? So this is an Akpata that was talking to the young people. He came on LinkedIn. I'm not a lawyer, but I saw his advert a lot. I watched his videos, but yet he also stayed calm. He didn't get too much enemies from the SANs, and that's why he's going to have a good tenure, because he's not somebody that came in as an anti SANs per se. He wants to reform, but he will get significant backing from some SANs, maybe smaller a percentage, maybe minority. But the fact that he has some of them on his side, it's a credit to him.
Okay, what do you have to say about the NBA's withdrawal of the Kaduna State Governor, Mr. Nasir El Rufai, after all of the outcry from its members that they do not want him present at their conference? What do you have to say about that? Do you think it's a good move from the NBA, or they should have just retained him as a guest?
Yes, I support that. Like everybody knows, I'm no longer an El Rufai supporter. I've read a lot of details. I've watched him. I think he has changed. Maybe this is how he's always been. I thought he was part of us, the masses,
Okay.
before. But clearly, he's not part of us. I see him as an establishment guy. He's part of them. And so I don't see him. I support that move. I think he's made a lot of bad statements, a lot of sometimes. Imagine when he was talking about. Even when he was threatening foreigners before the last elections, he threatens everybody. He's even threatening the guys that pushed for his withdrawal, saying he's going to take them to court. He makes statements sometimes very, um, uh, how would I say it? Clearly unfriendly statements to anybody that doesn't support him. And then he expects people will not fight. No, people will fight. And nowadays he's saying that there's a narrative he's trying to paint now, saying uh, there are killings in every other state in the northwest. Why is it that Southern Kaduna
I do
killing
know.
is what makes people make noise? And I think that's laughable, and I think he should be ashamed of himself to make those kind of nonsense statements. You should focus on your own state. Rufai. If people are dying in Southern Kaduna, you have no business talking about killings in Katsina or Zamfara. People focus on the issues in your state and find a way to resolve the problem. But when you are comparing with the killings, he's trying to say that when Muslims are killed in Katsina, in Zamfara, there's not so much noise. So why are we making noise when Christians are killed in Southern Kaduna? That's a nonsense statement. And we need to hold him accountable. The fact that he can speak, and I now understand why people like Abba Kyari didn't respect him. What the fact that he's excelled to some extent in his life doesn't mean he can just rubbish people for fighting him. All lives are equal. Personally, I feel when Muslims are killed, when Christians are killed, people should talk about it. But the comparing is nonsense. If people are killed in Southern Kaduna and we are talking about it, yes, we are free to talk about it. If you want to talk about killings in other states, yes, talk about them. But you are the governor of Kaduna State, and when people are killed and they talk about it, it's their choice. So for me, I support it, and I think that people need to do more of that. We need to call RFI out. We need to deny him opportunities to speak at uh, such good events, and let him, if he wants to keep talking on channels and everywhere else, he can do that. But he needs to recognize there is some price to pay for talking the way he talks.
Okay, thank you very much for your time, Engineer Onifade. We really have to go now. And thank you to you two for watching our show today. Remember, you can order paperback and Kindle version of this book, Liberating Nigeria, A Guide to Winning Elections and Reviving Our Country from Amazon, with foreword by Femi Falana, a senior advocate of Nigeria. The free ebook is also available on Amazon Kindle device. You can install a free Amazon Kindle app on your Android or Apple phone and place an order for the book. Well, if you're in Nigeria, you can order online from denon.ng or rhbooks.com.ng. You can also email liberatingnigeria@gmail.com to make inquiries about the book. You can also reach out to booksellers in Ibadan, Abuja, Abeokuta, or specifically in Lagos. You can buy at Glendora Bookstore, Ikeja City Mall, Betaba Books at Surulere Mall, Roving Heights Bookstore at Surulere, and Lateran Assembly Bookstore, all in Lagos. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel by simply clicking the subscribe button right below this video. Like the video and definitely share with your friends. And also remember to register at www.liberatingnigeria.com to join our movement to revive Nigeria together. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.